Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Tiffany from the blog growingdawn.com, and today Landon and I are going to take you on a full garden tour. We are hopping on the four-wheeler and headed to our big Back to Eden garden first. We have some sweet potato slips that we just bought. I want to get those on the ground today. I don't know. We'll definitely be doing some weeding, maybe planting a few other things. We'll just see. And then I'm also going to show you what's growing in my raised beds, in my Greenstalk garden, and anything else that we can find along the way. Do you know how to start it?
You hit some gas?
Yeah, just the black button where your left hand is. Hold it in. And then, yep. Okay, that's good. Loosen it lightly. Okay, sorry. It's fine. A bug just almost went in my eye. Keep going. Almost there. Oh yeah. So we used mushroom compost, live mushroom compost, when we did the garden prep, and so we have some little mushrooms growing here. This is our 2,000 square foot Back to Eden garden. So far I've planted carrots, peppers, tomatoes, peas, cucumbers, squash, let's see what else, melons. I think there's some eggplant. We just planted okra the other day. There's beans. And we also just planted a row of corn the other day. So almost everything is planted. The only thing that I really need to plant right now is the sweet potato slips. We have here with us today. These are the sweet potato slips. So are you ready to show them what we got? Okay. Okay, what do you remember?
Some carrots.
Yes, we have 3 rows of carrots. Let's see if we see any.
No. Or is that a weed?
That's a weed. Okay, so here you can see, this is definitely a sprout here. There's definitely a sprout right there. I don't know if you can see it. These are our peas. They need to be trellised. That's got to be done this week because they're getting pretty long. Most of the stuff that we have is still pretty small. There's a lot of things that are just sprouting. There's some things I tried to start from seed, but it didn't really work out, so I just ended up direct sowing. Like, these are cucumbers. There's only like a couple that I see coming up right now. There's one. And then this is a new variety that I had never heard of before, but these are asparagus beans. And I found out after I planted them that they're actually perennials and that they come back year after year. That's kind of cool. And the tomatoes are probably what is doing the best here in the garden. They are really just taking off. This is a tomato that I think is really cool. The leaves actually look kind of different from your normal tomato, but this is a chocolate stripe variety. See how the leaves are not as rigid as those? So I'm excited to see what the fruit looks like. They're really loving all that cow manure and compost that we put on the garden. These are bush beans. That's a pretty good looking one. Let's see. There's nothing coming up here yet. I think this is okra. I just planted yesterday. Landon found something. Oh, what's that? Where was that?
Over there.
Anybody know what this is? It's so pretty, and it smells really good too. Coming out of the
I'll
stem.
go get another one.
Okay. So I'm looking at the melons, and it seems like some of them are doing better. I was a little worried about how the melons were doing because they were not really growing, just kind of staying yellow, but I do see some new leaves on a few of the plants. We have two kinds of melons. There's honey rock melons, which is like a cantaloupe, and black diamond watermelons. This is where I planted zucchini and crookneck squash. What?
Like this.
Is there a lot of it over there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
really
see
cool.
the white stuff?
Yeah. Oh wow, yeah. There's a lot of milky stuff coming out of the stem. It is so humid today. We had like quite a bit of rain come through over the weekend and stuff. Ever since that rainstorm, it's been super muggy. It's really not even that hot right now. I think it's in the low 70s, but it feels way hotter. So right now, there's really nothing that's that big in the garden. Like I said, the tomatoes are definitely doing the best. They are just taking off. They have grown a lot, like every day I come up here. But some of the other stuff, honestly, I'm a little concerned about. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it's getting a lot more hot and a lot more humid. So hopefully the peppers and the melons and stuff like that will start taking off. We do have radishes. I actually harvested a couple of those the other day, but I think they could have gotten a little bit bigger. So here's the radishes. Come here, Landon, you want to see this?
They're like
Look.
poking out of the ground.
Yeah. You can see the red top starting to poke out. See that?
And when we tasted them last night, they're spicy.
Yeah, they are spicy. These radishes are lady slipper radishes. That's the variety that we planted. Lean on up. Oh, did you pull it out? Okay. Maybe you can give that one to Grammy. So the first things that I planted was lettuce, radishes, chard, and carrots. And as you can see,
It's a radish.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
One, I think.
But see, oh man, like the peppers, so obviously I have like an aphid problem, I think. You see that? Look at all the holes in the leaf. That's not good. They're really just not getting a chance to grow at all. So I'm gonna bring out my neem oil and spray those. This one's looking okay. It's got some new leaves on it.
Only has a few holes.
Yeah. So I am still very much a beginner gardener. I don't really know what I'm doing. Everything is an experiment for me. I've grown tomatoes and peppers and squash and stuff like that before, but there's a lot of things that I don't have much experience growing. I've tried to do carrots and melons and stuff like that before, but like corn is something brand new this year that we planted. I've never grown before. The asparagus beans I've never planted before. Eggplant, which that's not doing very well either. I either direct sowed all of these things or I started them from seed myself. So I haven't bought any plants. There is nothing in this garden that I bought as a plant. I started everything myself. So these sweet potato slips that we're planting today, that's the first thing that we've put in that we bought as a plant from the nursery the other day.
You basically
bright
did
right
buy the groceries because you buy the seeds.
Bought the groceries because I bought the seeds.
Yeah.
Everything we have here I started from seed. So I'm kind of proud of that, but at the same time it presents some challenges. Everything's pretty small. It's not really as flourishing as I would want it to be at this point in June. But yeah, anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and plant some sweet potatoes. You ready, Amanda? about to plant some sweet potato slips, and this is in addition to the garden that I didn't initially plan, so I am having to make room for them. But I'm going to put them down here at the corner of the garden, take up a little bit of the space where I was going to plant winter squash and pumpkins, and see how it goes. I mapped out this garden, and that has been really helpful as far as knowing exactly where to plant things and making sure that we have good spacing between our rows and things like that. So I highly recommend mapping out your garden before you start planting. That may seem like a duh to some people, but I know last year I just got so excited and just started planting things and didn't really think it through. So we're back at the house. Did you have a good trip, Lando?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you my Greenstalk garden, and if you are interested in getting a Greenstalk of your own, I do have a promo code that you can use. It's just Growing Dawn, and I will put that and also a link in the description box below of where you can get your own and exactly what this is and all of that. But anyway, here we go. This is our Greenstalk. This is on our back porch. I've had it set up since about March, and I tried planting some early spring stuff in it. You can watch that video if you want, but I ended up taking most of that stuff out and planting all new a couple months ago.
Look.
I know. Bum, bum, bum.
Starting to die.
Yeah, that one's dying. So these peas that I have in here are a dwarf pea variety, and they're starting to die off, although that one I just realized actually has a little pea on it. Pea pod. Do you see that, Landon? Today is the first time I've noticed that.
But that's
I don't really know what to think about that. So I have 3 of those dwarf peas.
There's kind of
This is an ancho grande, which is like a poblano pepper. It's doing actually well. So this is one I started from seed, and you saw that the peppers I planted up at the big garden are not doing very well, but this one is actually doing pretty good. And let's see, this one is also an ancho grande. And then this is a bush bean. It's got a little flower on it. This is all lettuce on the second tier. These are doing pretty good. I don't remember exactly what variety is what, but I know I planted leaf lettuce, romaine lettuce, and I think bib lettuce. There was 3 different kinds. So those 2 pockets are doing the best, and there is some coming up in all of them though. This is a cucumber plant. I started from seed. It's been through a lot. Doesn't seem like it's getting a whole lot of new growth right now. It did have a couple blossoms on it a couple days ago, but they just fell off. I'm trying to remember the type of cucumber. I think it's SMR, but it's like a smaller plant too, so I thought it might do well in the Greenstalk. This is a Tiny Tim tomato start. It's still very small. It hasn't really grown much, so we'll see about that. I believe this is arugula coming up here. There's another Tiny Tim tomato plant. There's a couple new leaves on there. And another tomato plant. These are all the Tiny Tim variety. And then this is sweet basil. And then on the 4th tier, we have all strawberries. And I did buy these as plants, but they are doing really well. We've already gotten quite a few strawberries off of them. And then on the bottom, I have 2 really big plants. I bought these as plants way back in early spring. This is cabbage, which I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and harvest it very, very soon. And then this is a broccoli plant. We harvested the top off of it yesterday.
We used it for
But I read that if you leave the stem, part of the stem, you could get some side shoots, so I'm just gonna leave that here for now. These are also cabbage. These are ones that I started from seed. This is a cilantro.
It's really small.
And then we have another basil. This basil is doing really well. It looks a lot healthier than the other one we have. So yeah, and that's everything on the Greenstalk. I had to go inside and get my microphone. Hopefully you guys could hear me for that last part. Amateur vlogger problems. Okay, so we have a very large spearmint patch here in front of our back porch. I planted one mint plant the year that we moved in, so that was 3 years ago, and it just, this whole patch is taken over. It's okay because these rocks keep it from spreading too much, and I just try to stay on top of it to make sure that the mint doesn't start growing into the yard. But it actually looks really pretty and green, and it smells amazing. It's a good natural insect repellent also. So now we're going to go around to the front. I have 3 small garden beds. 2 of them are being taken up with garlic. We planted this back in November, I think, before it got really cold. We have a ton of garlic because we bought a lot of bulbs with some friends of ours, and we were just like scrambling to try to find space to put it. So I went ahead and used 2 of these garden beds for that, which is totally fine because I have plenty of space. Here is one of the garlic beds. I still have some scapes that I need to take off. If you've never grown garlic before, these flower things that grow in the middle, they're like really firm and kind of round. These are the garlic scapes, and you can just pinch them off down where they start at the leaf. Just a minute, Landon. You can pull these off and you can just dice them up and use them in your cooking. They have a really nice strong flavor. It's actually good, from what I've heard, to go ahead and pinch them off because it gives the plant more energy to put into the root, which if you want a big bulb of garlic, that's what you want. Yep. Okay, so a little further into our front yard, we have these 2 garden beds, and another one is full of garlic, and then this one is tomatoes, because I had a lot of tomato starts, more than I could fit in the garden, so I went ahead and put as many as I could in here, and they're thriving here too. I had tomatoes here last year and they did really well, so I think this is a really good spot for the tomatoes. I have a couple more of the chocolate stripe variety here, and I believe the ones in the middle are cherry, and the ones on this end are hillbilly, if I remember right. The last thing I'm going to show you probably needs the most work. We put a lot into our front flower bed last year. You can watch the video where we did all the landscaping on that. I wanted it to be all herbal and like flowering herbs that were both pretty and useful. Last year I had chamomile and pineapple sage and the rosemary and echinacea. I had zinnias, but this year I have done absolutely nothing to this bed. But daylilies are coming up, and that echinacea has just gotten huge. Last year I only got 2 flowers on it, and this year there's more than I can count. So that's pretty amazing. I'm gonna have a lot of echinacea to make tincture with this year. The rosemary is exploded. I really need to trim that. And yeah, tons of weeds basically. I probably won't really be doing much else with it. I may pick up a couple of plants to throw in here later this month, but if I don't, I'm okay with it because we have so much going on with the vegetable garden this year. Hey Liam,
Hey,
welcome to the vlog.
this is enough.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna end this vlog here. I hope you all enjoyed seeing everything that I have growing. It was really fun to take you on a little tour, take you gardening with me today. I hope it gave you some inspiration for your own gardens. I hope it made you feel better about what you have going on because, you know, I showed you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just know that it's not always beautiful, perfect, flourishing gardens. With us as homesteaders, there's a lot of failures. There's a lot of lackluster plants, and that's okay. I'm taking the good with the bad, and I'm just excited to be learning. Thanks for joining us today on our garden tour. We will see you in the next video.
Like and subscribe.